Today we have episode number 3 of I Rate Your Promo, or promo reviews, whatever you want to call it. And today we are looking at the most feared promo. The most feared promo is one of the staple promos in Madden Ultimate Team. Up there with like Zero Chill, Legends, Ultimate Legends. It's a promo that's, I guess, also Team of the Week and Team of the Year would be in there too. But it's a promo that we get every year. Everyone gets hyped for it. And honestly, it's always delivered. I think it's always been a good promo for as long as I can remember. And this year was no different. Like, I really enjoyed the most feared promo this year. And even though the main focus of this series is the content and the cards itself, I think with the most feared promo, we also have to think about the whole promo. I'm talking about the solos, the house rules, and my favorite part about this whole promo was the fact that there was the strat card that made your players 7'5", or you could also pick one that made your players smaller and gave them better speed. And it wasn't intended, but there was a way you could easily, glitch the strat card and use it in weekend league and use it in head-to-head, which, thinking back, to this calendar year, Madden 22, it was one of the more fun times. I know funner's not a word. I've heard that before. But one of the more fun times I've had playing Madden 22 this year. Like, legitimately, I remember I made a video on it. I might put some clips on the video. I'm not really too sure, but that was a great time. That was genuinely a great time on this game, and it also made a lot of the lower overall most feared cards usable. I remember I think I used what's his name, Taylor Heineke, for a little bit at quarterback because he was tall. But yeah, it was definitely a good time thinking of the strat cards and just kind of the whole promo in that time of the year in general. I think it was just a major W. Okay, so my phone is now on silent, and now let's just start going over these cards. So usually I go from the lower overall cards up, but with a promo like this, there isn't as much content as much consistent content as the Legend promo or Team of the Week. So we're just going to start with the heavy hitters. So if you guys remember correctly, we had 3 limited time drops. There were 3 limited time drops because the overalls went up. So there was one drop with the lower overall limiteds in the 92 Masters. And then the next drop, it was 94 overall limiteds with 93 Masters. So the overalls did fluctuate mid-promo, which usually, I guess, doesn't happen. That's kind of unique. But we have our 293 overall limiteds. This was part of the first drop. JJ Watt, his cards always play well, mainly because his traits, you guys can kind of see it, are always all on yes. So Watt may have not had the crazy speed, but I remember JJ Watt was quick sell, or basically quick sell, and then so was Travis Kelce. These limiteds weren't that great. I remember thinking these guys are probably not worth 250K when there were, some better budget guys in the game. There were definitely, better options out there at tight end, and also for the price tag too. But yeah, those were our 2 limiteds for the first most feared drop. And then our masters, or our heroes, for the first drop, we had 4 of them. We had Ed Reed, we had Derrick Henry, we had Jesse Bates, and we also did have Larry Allen. So drop number 1, I think champion-wise, wasn't bad. I actually kind of liked the uniqueness of this outside linebacker, Ed Reed. And we all know this year was kind of like the year of the out-of-position players. And we kind of should have saw it coming because they started very early with the outside linebacker, Ed Reed. And they kind of made him unique because he had an outside linebacker power-up, but his outside linebacker 92 overall card could also go into his safety card. So it was weird, but I remember kind of liking the uniqueness of it. Obviously, that kind of, I guess, died a little bit. But, it was definitely the year of the out-of-position player. And looking back, it was very clear that this was their plan this year. But I think the coolest part of this promo was the fact that we got so many big names. Like, so many names that we want to use on our Ultimate teams. Like Derrick Henry, for example. We all know what Derrick Henry can do. And not only was this card freakishly fast for the time, he's also Derrick Henry and going to fall forward. And we knew this card was going to be a demon. Like, this was the best running back in the game when he came out, like, without question, 100%, not really even close. Still going for a pretty good amount of coin because people still want to power up their Derrick Henrys. But, this card was ridiculous. Like, this is a big name. Doesn't matter if he's a 93 or a 92. With stats like that, the card can still play. Jesse Bates was still good, had a good speed, good acceleration, can play zone, and also had the 88 man as well. And then Ed Reed as well. He was solid. I know this is going to be his outside linebacker stats, but good zone, good hit power, good speed, stuff like that. Ed Reed cards always just play well, even though they are, usually undersized. He's always a monster. So Ed Reed at the time was also a beast, and he also had that like special card art because he was like the face of the promo. And also, I remember people being upset. I mean, it makes sense because we got so many Ed Reed upgrades this year, but he did not need an upgrade. He really didn't. He had his 90 overall legend that was still playing well for me. When I saw he came out, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then also Larry Allen. He's Larry Allen. Yeah, he was, I'm sure, probably the best guard in the game whenever he came out. Basically 90s across the board. And also him being in a promo makes him a little bit more affordable than if he was like a legend or a limited time or whatever. So that was drop number 1. We had Travis Kelce, JJ Watt, and those masters to come with it. So before we go over drop number 2, I do want to talk about the 90 overalls that go into these sets to create these 92 or 93 overall, champions. I feel like these cards are a very underrated part of our promo. I think EA dropping, somewhat good like options for theme teams in these 90 overalls is very important. And I feel like it kind of had that. You know what I mean? I know that they didn't have, crazy speed, but if you had a Bills team or a Giants team, you could use Poyer, you could use Logan Ryan. Josh Jacobs, 90 speed. That's pretty good on a Josh Jacobs card. For the time, that's very good. 89 speed Devin Bush as a user is pretty solid. Even 90 speed Keenan Allen's kind of crazy too. Those are pretty solid cards for theme teams. Outside of theme teams, are you going to go after Jordan Poyer and guys like that? Probably not. But if you have them, on their theme teams, it makes sense. 91 speed Brandon Cooks was probably a pretty good end cat option for some no money spent gremlins out there. Who else we got? We got Marshawn Lattimore, 91 speed. This card was actually solid. Calvin Ridley with 91 speed as well. And Calvin Ridley's like, 6'1" too. So he was probably one of the better 90 overall cards right there. Eric Rowe, his cards always play well. You had Gen 3 Derek Carr, Jeremy Chin, Corey Davis, who was solid at 6'3". A good offensive lineman. I definitely had this card. I also had Corey Davis as well. So yeah, the 90 overalls of this promo were also pretty solid. Like there were a lot of them that were definitely usable on their theme teams for sure. So also, yeah, W for EA on these 90 overalls. Like looking back, like speed wise, they were kind of up to par. Like obviously not as fast as the 92s, but yeah, like I said, on a theme team, a lot of these guys are very, very usable. Okay, so now we have drop number 2, and our limited times for drop number 2 were this Anthony Barr card, who I actually used, and this card was actually like basically quick sell, so you really didn't lose that many coins by going to pick up Anthony Barr. It's kind of a solid card. He was a good user. I remember I put him in, I was running 3-3-5 wide at the time, and he would play outside linebacker for me. I'd drop him into coverage, I'd rush him sometimes, even though his pass rush stats really aren't that good. I still kind of used him like that, had 90 zone, which is pretty nice as well, and he's 6'5", 255, so a big body, good against the run, and can also, kind of cause some disruption in pass coverage. So definitely was a fan of this Anthony Barr card. Was he the greatest? What was he for everyone? No, but I think he was solid. I like his size and his speed and his ability to play zone. Rushing the passer, obviously not really that guy, but he was pretty solid. So next up, we have Brandon Marshall, who was also in this drop, and this card was probably, if not the best, one of the best cards in the game in general, not just in this promo. 6'5", 232 pounds, 92 speed, 92 acceleration, 3 thresholds, a crazy route runner, nasty as a ball carrier as well. And his run block wasn't as good as it actually is, on his veteran now. And I'm also very surprised at how much they juiced his veteran card, but as far as run block goes. But you guys see right here, just a really well-rounded card for late October. Getting stats like this on a big body receiver is just insane, and kind of unlike, we'll go down here and I'll show you, but kind of unlike Anthony Barr, how his price went down. B-Marsh kind of stayed up there in price. He did until his Redux came out, and he was still going for a good amount, but his price really never came down. He was always, a pretty expensive card because, like I said, he was not only one of the best cards in the promo, he was also, one of the best cards in the game in general. And the champions that came out with, a Brandon Marshall and Anthony Barr they were kind of ridiculous. We had 93 overall Lawrence Taylor. Whenever a Lawrence Taylor card comes out, he's going to be a monster. Crazy speed for October, late October. The power moves matching the finesse moves. And the most important part about a Lawrence Taylor card is these traits right here. They're all on yes. This card was just a monster. If you ever can get your hands on an early game Lawrence Taylor, you try to do that as fast as possible because he's usually the best pass rusher in the game. And even this year, at this point of the year, you can still probably say he's, top 3 pass rusher in the game because of the traits, because of the speed, because of the finesse and the power moves. He always just plays insane. So we had Brandon Marshall, Anthony Barr, Lawrence Taylor. We also had Randy Moss in this drop as well. So 2 amazing receivers. I do think that, Brandon Marshall was slightly better than Randy Moss, but still, getting a Randy Moss at this point of the year is pretty nice. 92 speed, 92 acceleration. Wasn't able to hit 3 thresholds. Another reason why Brandon Marshall, in my opinion, was better at the time. Even after the catch, usually they don't juice, these early game Randy Moss cards too much, but definitely better to get a Randy Moss in late October compared to Madden 21, where our first Randy Moss card was, I believe, New Year's Day, I think it was. Like, they thought, I remember there was rumors that EA lost Randy Moss's rights because he didn't have a card until January in Madden 21. So definitely cool to see, Randy Moss, Lawrence Taylor, and also the next guy, Ray Lewis as well in this drop, which is, you get Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor, and Randy Moss in one drop with a limited time Brandon Marshall. That's a pretty insane drop. And this Ray Lewis card was also just an absolute monster. EA knows what they're doing when they give a card this many 90 overall stats. He hit every single tackling threshold, had 90 zone, 91 power moves, good speed, good acceleration at 6'1", 250. This card was a monster. Like, I know linebackers aren't as sought after as, safeties and cornerbacks, but this card was a monster. There's no other way really around it. Hitting all these thresholds, if you used middle linebackers, this was the guy to get. Like, look at these stats, just ridiculous. And then for our final card of this drop, we also had Gronk. Probably the worst card in the drop. As far as champions or heroes go, whatever you want to call them. But Gronk cards in the early game, they always play super well because there's usually not, super good safeties that can tackle or corners that can tackle. So, 6'6", 260-pound tight ends with the ball in their hands, they're kind of dominant. And obviously Gronk, not a crazy route runner, especially in late October, but, good trucking, good strength. He's obviously going to have that. Decent speed, decent acceleration, good run block or good impact block. Gronk cards at this point of the year are always, good cards to pick up because they're just hard to bring down. So that was drop number 2 of the most feared promo. Brandon Marshall, Anthony Barr, Randy Moss, Lawrence Taylor. And I think this was the best drop. It's obviously hard to beat a drop like this where you have Randy Moss, Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor, Gronk, B. Marsh, and Anthony Barr all in one drop. Like, that's a pretty crazy drop. That's ridiculous. So next up, we have the third and final content drop of the most feared promo. And our 2 limiteds were J.C. Horn and T.Y. Hilton. And I remember being very confused by this T.Y. Hilton card. I remember predicting either a quarterback or a running back to rival Derrick Henry. And we also have a bunch of receivers that came out during this promo. DK Metcalf, who we're going to go over in a little bit. Randy Moss, Brandon Marshall. That's 3 really good receivers. And then also T.Y. came out too. And, T.Y. being 5'10", his price, it got down to quick sell pretty quickly, if I do remember correctly. Yeah, he was going for about 300. He kind of shot up a little bit, but yeah, 350. I remember saying, buy this card. He's a good rental because 93 speed was pretty good. But yeah, he got down in price fairly quickly. But the speed was good, hitting 3 thresholds. Deep threat archetype was solid, but I don't think he was better than Randy or Brandon or even the DK Metcalf card that came out in this drop as well. But J.C. Horn was a monster, and he stayed up in price. This card was a beast. This card was really that guy. A 6'1" corner. Yes, he couldn't tackle, but remember, it was late October, so it's kind of hard to find a corner that's the best at, everything. But yeah, good in coverage. I remember him not hitting the zone threshold was slightly a problem, but, with strat cards, you were able to kind of cover that up a little bit. But decent pursuit. And his price definitely stayed up there, just like Brandon Marshall's did. He was the more sought after limited in the drop, so this definitely does add up. And just like Brandon Marshall, just like Derrick Henry, just like Lawrence Taylor, just like, Larry Allen, when this card came out, he was the best at his position. So this promo brought a bunch of, super top tier cards into the game. But we also have, the rest of this drop. And unlike drop number 1, where we got, a lot of legends, this drop, there was really no legends. I guess, Aaron Donald's already a legend. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him like a UL upgrade this year. Could you imagine they dropped a UL Aaron Donald just for no reason? But this drop was solid. Jair Alexander was kind of cheated on the speed, especially after seeing the 93 speed that they gave J.C. Horn, which was just ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. And by the way, this card never would have existed if RPs worked the way that they used to, because there were people complaining like, oh, my RP won't upgrade. Like, yeah, this card wouldn't have existed if RPs upgraded. They never would have dropped this card. So I like the new RP format. I enjoy it. I'm not complaining about it whatsoever. But yeah, we had Aaron Donald, who was, his cards always play well, kind of the same story as, Lawrence Taylor. He wasn't given the speed that his Super Bowl card, I believe, was given. But yeah, all traits on yes, can play anywhere on the defensive line. Crazy strength, the finesse, the power moves powered up, both at 90, and pretty good tackling stats as well. So Aaron Donald, was he as good as Lawrence Taylor as like a rusher? No, but still very good. And like I said, Jair was cheated on the speed a little bit, but still a good card. 91 speed, 91 acceleration, 3 thresholds, decent pursuit. And is this his last upgrade? Damn, that's crazy. We're still waiting for an endgame Jair. Another example of a card that needs an endgame upgrade. I mean, one more promo, EA, come on. Maybe power-up expansions, just drop some content, EA. That's all we ask, man. That's all we ask. We had Kyle Juszczyk, a card that I actually liked. I used him, and I actually like when they make, you know, when they put fullbacks in these promos, because they're somewhat affordable and they're usually very top tier. 86 speed, 88 acceleration. A solid card, like, you know, good run block, good lead block, all those things. You know, these like early game Juszczyk cards are always demons. And then of course, I think besides JC Horn, yeah, probably besides JC Horn, he was the best in the drop. And I remember saying that this card was better than Randy Moss, and I still stand by that. I really do. I think at the time he was definitely better, hitting 2 thresholds, 6'3", 229 pounds, 92 speed, 92 acceleration. Good after the catch, better than Randy Moss after the catch. This card was a monster. This card was a straight up killer, man. DK Metcalf, and also he was a 93. He wasn't like a limited or anything crazy like that. So his price like wasn't anything crazy, especially it being the last drop. Like, you know, 300k got down to like 180, or this is too late. This is too late. Yeah, within like a week or so, he was like, you know, 300. That's what these, you know, these champions were kind of at until, you know, December came out and all that stuff. But DK was definitely a solid option. So I would say drop 3 was still good. Was it as good as drop number 2? No, but still a good drop. I like JC Horn, and DK Metcalf. Donald and Juszczyk are, you know, decent for team fillers. But yeah, drop 2 I think is definitely the best drop. So before I give the most feared promo my final rating, there are still 2 more cards to go over. And in my opinion, these 2 cards coming out on Halloween was the perfect way, like the perfect way for EA to end this promo. It was amazing. And I believe in Madden 21, they said there was going to be some kind of content drop on Halloween, and there just wasn't. But this year they came through, and yeah, Mariota and Marshawn Lynch were just both amazing cards, all team chems. And these cards were, I believe, the first cards with pre-baked abilities. Obviously, we saw a lot more pre-baked ability cards, but these guys were the first. So Tank, Bruiser, and Balance Beam, I believe, was 4 AP on Marshawn Lynch. All team chems, good speed, good acceleration, and also did have secondary position fullback, so you could put him at fullback with all team chems, and it was definitely big for team building. I remember using him on my Jets team at fullback. And also he had pretty solid fullback stats as well, like good lead block, solid impact block, stuff like that. So Marshawn Lynch was definitely a W and was the more popular card, but Mariota was also still really good. So he had Escape Artist, Evasive, and Fast Break. I'm not sure what the discount was on this. It was, I mean, it wasn't 14 AP back then. It was a little bit cheaper, but I don't remember the exact amount of AP, but it was discounted Fast Break, and it also was discounted Evasive. But the best part about Marcus Mariota was not only 32 team chems, he also had the Slinger 1 release with good speed, good acceleration, and pretty decent accuracy stats. So Mariota, I think, was the least popular of the 2. But yeah, both cards were just amazing and a great way to finish off the most feared promo. I think when it's all said and done, I'm gonna give this promo a 9.2. I think it is that good. I really do. The way that this promo could have improved was maybe a slightly better third drop, maybe dropping either a quarterback or a running back instead of T.Y. Hilton here, and also maybe some slightly better masters in the first drop, because, you know, both these guys, they were all right, but, you know, stat wise they weren't going, you know, too crazy. But yeah, this drop number 2 does kind of carry it a good amount. I'm not gonna lie, like Lawrence Taylor, Randy, Ray Luke, Gronk, and then you also have Brandon Marshall, Anthony Barr. That's pretty crazy. Like, it's hard to beat that. So I'm gonna go with a 9.1, 9.2 on this promo. Also, that is considering, you know, the glitch strat cards, the solos, the house rules, all those things. The card art was amazing as well in this promo. Our first pre-baked abilities as well in this promo. Yeah, this was a really, really solid one from EA. So that's what I'm gonna give it. Let me know down below what your final rating would be on the most feared promo for Madden 22. But yeah, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will see you boys in the next one.